Welcome to the Local Content Studio, an AI-generated podcast sponsored by newmedialocal.com, an AI-powered digital media agency.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to try and cut through a lot of the noise in content marketing. We're talking about really the single most critical challenge that I think creators and businesses are facing right now. And that's the content authenticity crisis. I mean, generative AI is just flooding the internet. And while the volume is way up, trust seems to be crashing down.
It really is the ultimate paradox, isn't it? Technology has given us this almost unlimited power to create, but the market is just saturated with content that's, well, it's perfectly written, it's factually sound, and it's completely useless.
Yeah.
Because it builds zero authority. We're sort of drowning in competence, but we're starving for any kind of genuine insight.
Right. And our deep dive today is all about unpacking a framework for solving this, and we're drawing from a really essential article. It's called The Content Authenticity Crisis: Why Generic AI Content Fails and How Expert Intelligence Fixes It. The piece was authored by Lorita Marie Kimble, who's the founder of New Media Local, and it gives just a crucial roadmap for anyone trying to stand out online.
Yeah, so our mission here is really twofold. First, we need to understand why just, simple prompting isn't enough anymore to win in search. And second, we need to get into the practical steps, the actual workflow that combines that tech efficiency with the unique human insight that, only you can have.
Okay, so let's start with the source of the problem, what Kimble calls the sea of sameness. I mean, content marketing has always been about visibility, but now it feels like visibility is cheap.
Oh, it's absolutely cheap. The source material really nails this. Content creation has just exploded, but the output is so predictable. If you ask, say, 10 different generic AI models for an article on the top 5 strategies for customer retention, you're going to get 10 articles that are 90% the same. Same structure, same tone, same advice. They lack soul.
I think we've all had that feeling, that clickbait feeling where you land on an article hoping for some kind of breakthrough and you just get a rehash of Wikipedia and whatever's on the first page of Google. It's just content fatigue.
And that fatigue is the key because it creates the core problem, which is the trust gap. Buyers, your prospects, they're now highly trained to run this mental filter on everything they read. They're always asking, does the person behind this, do they really know what they're talking about? Or are they just summarizing what everyone else said?
So it's not that the buyer is against the technology itself. They get that AI is a tool. What they're rejecting is the thin, surface-level stuff that gives them no new perspective, no real value.
Exactly. If your content sounds like it could have been written by literally anyone, your brand is instantly devalued. To get over that trust gap, businesses have to accept that the era of just scaling content volume, it's over. You don't need more content. You need a uniquely credible voice that shows real-world experience. That's really the only differentiator left.
And that differentiator, that brings us right into our second segment. It's all about defining that missing ingredient that turns content from just noise into actual authority. We need to sort of separate what most marketers are already doing from what they desperately need.
Right. Let's talk about CI versus EI. Most savvy marketers, they're already relying pretty heavily on content intelligence, or CI.
And CI is basically search demand analysis, right? Looking at the data.
Precisely. CI is the foundation. It's looking at what keywords are ranking, what topics are trending, what specific questions people are asking in forums in your industry. CI is critical because it tells you where the visibility is. It shows you the market relevance.
So it tells you which door to knock on. But how is that different from what you call the antidote expert intelligence, or EI?
EI is the key that unlocks that door. If CI is the technical framework, EI is the human differentiator. It's the stuff that Google can't crawl and that generic AI can't just invent. This is the material that builds real authority.
Okay, so what are the specific components of EI, the things that are, inherently human and you can't replace? The source material gets into this, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, it breaks it down into 3 main elements. First, you have lived experiences, what we like to call war stories. These are the things that went wrong, the pivots that were painful, the solutions you only discovered through trial and error, the hard-won lessons.
So not just the shiny success story, but the messy, complicated road to get there.
Absolutely. The second piece of EI is the difference between, say, the textbook method and how we actually do it in the real world. It's your proprietary process.
Yeah.
The step you develop because the industry standard just kept failing you, it's the IP of your process.
The insight that only a practitioner would have, not a generalist. just summarizing things.
Yes. And the third component is the counterintuitive insight. This is the wisdom that only comes from years of pattern recognition. It's when you look at a common belief in your industry and can say, you know what, that's actually wrong, and here's the specific data or the story to prove why. That's what breaks through.
So if CI tells you what topic the market is searching for, EI is the reason they should stop searching and just trust you on that topic.
That is the winning formula right there. When you fuse CI, the market relevance, with EI, your unique voice and experience, you create content that, yeah, it ranks because it hits the keywords, but it also converts because it resonates and it builds that trust almost immediately.
Okay, that makes perfect sense as a concept. But here's the big challenge, right? The friction. If capturing those nuanced war stories means the expert has to sit down and write for hours or spend all day on calls with a ghostwriter, we're right back to burnout. We need a way to scale the authenticity.
And this is where the methodology in the source material really pivots from just philosophy to a practical application. The solution isn't about writing better prompts. It's about creating a streamlined system for extracting the expertise you already have. The whole mindset shift is simple. Experts need to stop writing and start talking. Just document their expertise verbally.
Okay, so let's break down this AI journalist workflow. How does it get rid of the friction of writing, but still keep all that valuable expert intelligence?
It basically reverses the whole content process. Instead of starting with a blank page, you start with a conversation.
Walk us through the mechanics of that. How does the system actually kick off the content creation?
It all starts with the CI part. The system, acting as this AI journalist, it takes all the current SEO and market trend data and generates a really targeted interview script. It knows exactly which high-demand keywords and burning audience questions you need to answer.
So the system actually calls the expert, or the expert just talks into it, and it asks these specific guided questions that are designed to pull out those unique EI war stories.
Exactly. The expert doesn't have to prep notes or worry about structure. They just answer the questions naturally. They share their personal anecdotes, specific client examples, their proprietary methods. They are literally just documenting their lived experience out loud, usually in like a 5 or 10-minute session.
And this is where the AI does the heavy lifting, but with a huge difference compared to generic content tools.
A critical difference. The system processes that raw audio, that transcript that's full of EI. It then structures that interview into a polished SEO-optimized article. But, and this is crucial, it doesn't invent any facts or the perspective. It uses the expert's own words as the source code. The AI is specifically trained to find and keep the direct quotes, the unique phrases, and the expert's natural tone.
So if the expert says something like, we tried the standard solution and it just blew up in our face because of X, Y, and Z, the AI makes sure that specific story stays perfectly intact, even while it's adding headings and optimizing the flow.
That's the technological moat. The final output is a highly structured article that's truly authored by the expert's unique perspective, not just synthesized from a general knowledge base. It's augmenting their voice, not inventing one for them.
Which brings us to the efficiency claims, which are, frankly, pretty astounding. How does this actually translate into time saved?
I mean, dramatically. When you remove the friction, the writer's block, the typing, the structuring, the endless editing, content creation time just collapses. The model claims a business can produce an entire month's worth of high-authority content. We're talking 4 to 6 unique long-form pieces in about 20 minutes a month.
20 minutes for a whole month. I mean, that's compared to hours, sometimes days, that a traditional content team or the expert themselves would spend on just one piece.
Think about it. A traditional calendar. An expert spends, what, 2 hours drafting, then another 2 hours revising with an editor? And you need 4 of those a month, plus all the social promotion. It's a huge time suck. With this, you spend 5 or 10 minutes documenting knowledge you already have, and the AI handles the rest. It fundamentally changes the role from content creator to knowledge documentarian.
And the versatility must be huge. That single 10-minute interview isn't just one blog post, is it?
No, not at all. It becomes the source code for your entire digital presence. The article can be immediately turned into a LinkedIn newsletter, a bunch of super specific social media posts, email sequences, even the talking points for a video script. You get maximum leverage from minimal input.
Let's move into our final segment and connect this all back to the core value. Why does this extraction method satisfy the demands of both search engines and, your actual human audience?
Well, we have to talk about Google's quality standards. They lean so heavily on EET That's experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust.
Right, and expertise and authoritativeness,
Yeah.
those can sometimes be faked with good research. But that first E experience, that's where generic AI content just completely falls flat.
Precisely. Generic content gives you a summary. It gives you information, not insight. It fails the experience test every time. Now think about a piece that's created with this AI journalist workflow. An expert answers a question about, say, common B2B marketing failures. They don't just list them. They say, 3 years ago on a project for client X, we made the classic mistake of focusing on metrics A and B. It led to disaster Z. We learned the real factor was C.
That specific anecdote, that war story, that is undeniable proof of experience.
It's verifiable EI. A reader instantly recognizes that as specific, hard-won knowledge. It's content they literally cannot find anywhere else, and it instantly satisfies Google's highest quality criteria for EEAT. This is how you build a competitive moat that no generic AI can ever cross.
And it also solves the internal friction for businesses. It helps with burnout by taking away the writing chore. But how does this compare to, say, hiring a really skilled ghostwriter, which has been the traditional solution for high-authority content?
Ghostwriters are great at what they do, but they introduce massive friction in both cost and time. You have to spend hours briefing them. You have to review multiple drafts, coordinate schedules. That relationship is a huge drain on the expert's time.
And the ghostwriter still has to learn the EI from the expert to begin with, which takes time itself.
Yeah, whereas the AI-driven interview is instantaneous, it's significantly cheaper, and there's zero scheduling coordination. The expert can document their knowledge whenever they have 5 spare minutes, not just when their ghostwriter is available. It just optimizes that process of turning hidden knowledge into scalable content.
So this entire framework, combining CI to find the demand and EI to provide that unique, trusted answer, all captured through the AI journalist workflow, this is really the new playbook for building authority online.
It's about leveraging technology to protect and amplify the one asset that is truly irreplaceable: your unique perspective, your war stories, and your hard-won lessons.
This has been a really comprehensive look at the framework from Lorita Marie Kimble and the power of expert intelligence. It seems like success in this new era hinges completely on shifting from generic content creation to structured expert documentation. You use the data to ask the right questions and your experience to provide the answers nobody else can.
The system makes sure the audience gets the authenticity they're craving and the business owner gets their time back. It's a win-win.
So we want to leave you with a final provocative thought for the week, and it comes directly from this model's core philosophy. The source material lists the biggest friction points that stop business owners from publishing high-authority content. It boils down to one of 3 things: time, ideas, or writing.
And the whole promise of the AI journalist workflow is that it can solve all 3 by simplifying the input process and focusing it completely on your expertise.
So we want you to really think about where you're losing the most momentum in your own content strategy. Which of those 3 time ideas or writing is the real bottleneck that's holding you back the most? If you can pinpoint that friction point, you'll know exactly where to apply this new approach to unlock your competitive authority.
Figure out the blockage, and you unlock the growth.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.